So family, friends of graduates, faculty, staff, administrators, and members of the graduating class, welcome and good evening. My name is Ben Withers, and I am pleased to serve as the Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. It is my distinct pleasure tonight to welcome you to our commencement celebration honoring this graduating class of 223. So I ask you now to please stand and face the stage as the Colorado State University Wing Walker Honor Guard presents the colors. Please stand. The Colorado State University Brass Quintet and vocalist Michaela Fitzpatrick will lead us in singing our national anthem. So please be seated. Well, that's kind of cool. Can we get up and down? Let's do a little wave. Both Colorado State University and the College of Liberal Arts recognize our unique history and our mission as a land-grant university. This year, for the 153rd year. The liberal arts approach to learning forms the heart of Colorado State's heritage as a land-grant public university. A liberal arts education encourages individuals to develop strong and transferable intellectual and practical skills such as communication, critical analysis, teamwork, empathy, creative thinking, and problem solving. Because the first word in land-grant is land, it is also incumbent on us to recognize where that land came from and how that history permeates everything that we do. As such, Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that this land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and the Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other native tribes. We recognize the indigenous people as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties that nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion. and significantly that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, our responsibility, and commitment. Thank you. And now I'm introducing the platform party. So what I would like you to do is each name is acknowledged, clap once. Some of the titles are kind of long, so I'll give you a direction. Hold your applause until we reach the end of the roster. So first, Dr. Janice Nerger, Interim Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Sean Bingham, Director of the University Honors Program. Dr. Sue Doe, Chair of Faculty Council. Dr. Rose Henschel, Senior Associate Dean for Academic Programs and Interim Chief Academic Officer for the CSU system. Dr. Blanche Hughes, Vice President for Student Affairs. Captain Alan Plack, Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew L. Tillman, Army ROTC. Dr. Ellie Light, Assistant Dean for Student Success. Dr. Ryan Claycomb, Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs. Dr. Micah Glantz, Chair of the Department of Anthropology and Geography. Dr. Ellie Mosman, Chair, Department of Art and Art History. Dr. Alyssa Bronstein, Associate Dean for Research. Dr. Rosa Marty, Faculty Coordinator for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Professor Kevin Foster, Director, Interdisciplinary Liberal Arts. Dr. Jonathan Carlyon, Chair, Languages, Literatures, and Cultures, and Interim Director of International Studies. Dr. Greg Dickinson, Chair, Department of Communication Studies. Dr. Sammy Zaran, Interim Chair, Department of Economics. Dr. Lou Ann Reed, Chair, Department of English. Dr. Shushmita Chatterjee, Chair, Department of Ethnic Studies. Dr. Robert Goodmanstead, Chair, Department of History. Dr. Marilee Long, Chair, Department of Journalism and Media Communication. Dr. Matt McKenzie, Chair, Department of Philosophy. Dr. Bob Duffy, Chair, Department of Political Science. Dr. Pete Taylor, Chair, Department of Sociology. And last but not least, Dr. Dan Goebel, Director of the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Please join me in recognizing the platform party. Good thing I'm not in music. I'm not a very good conductor. Graduates, you are part of the liberal arts community, which includes more than 6,000 currently enrolled undergraduate students and over 55,000 alumni. You join them in achieving an education that includes both an in-depth study in your specific discipline and a broad knowledge of the wider world, of culture and society, an investigation of the human experience. A liberal arts education empowers individuals by teaching them to apply their knowledge and skills in diverse real-world settings. Underlying it all is a sense of civic responsibility, that education is important for future generations and for a society as a whole, that we live in a better world when there are more people who can bring to bear their skills to help us all deal with the complexity, challenges, and change of our contemporary circumstances. So thank you for choosing to become part of this ever-growing community at CSU. And congratulations for meeting the academic challenges presented by your studies. I now have the honor of introducing Senior Associate Dean for Academic Programs in the College of Liberal Arts, Dr. Rose Henschel, who will help us recognize our graduating students.
Good evening, graduates. Today, the faculty, your family, and friends have gathered to celebrate your achievements and your bachelor's degree. I will be recognizing many students from among your class by asking them to stand. Please stand if you're able. So that we may express our pride in your accomplishments, would all members of the graduating class of 2023 please stand? Please be seated. The liberal arts faculty have dedicated their lives to scholarship, research, artistry, outreach, and most importantly, teaching and mentoring students. Will the members of the faculty, including those on the platform, please stand and receive our appreciation for all that you've done for this graduating class. Please be seated. As we celebrate your graduation, we also recognize some of the special accomplishments of members of your class. The College of Liberal Arts is pleased to honor those students who have earned teacher licensure by completing an approved academic degree program and professional education requirements, including student teaching. Students who have earned teacher licensure can be identified by the powder blue cords that they wear today. Would graduates who will be licensed by the state of Colorado to teach in elementary or middle and high school please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. A significant number of students have enriched their education by completing the requirements for a program of study beyond the major. Will students who have completed a second major or a minor or a double minor or a second major and a minor or 3 majors, 5 minors, all stand to be recognized? Please be seated. Colorado State University is dedicated to creating a world-class university that welcomes all students and strives to make international learning accessible. As an institution, we encourage students to engage in education abroad, connect across cultures, and become more curious about the world. So too, we benefit by welcoming international students who have chosen to make the College of Liberal Arts their academic home. Will all students who participated in education abroad during their time at CSU and all international students who are graduating please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. A first-generation student is one whose parents have not earned a bachelor's degree. An important aspect of CSU's land-grant mission is to provide access to education so that a wider community of students may experience the transformational potential of a college education. The success of first-generation students in our college and at our university is a point of pride for all of us. I am pleased to ask all first-generation students in the graduating class and among the faculty and the platform to stand and be recognized. Please be seated. In 1916, Congress created the Reserve Officers Training Corps, the ROTC, which provides military training at civilian educational institutions. Colorado State University enjoys a long tradition of strong ROTC programs. We are honored by the enrollment of veterans in majors across our college as well. Will those graduates who were commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army or Air Force and those who are veterans among the students and audience members of any branch of the United States Military Services, please stand and receive our thanks and support. Please be seated. Next, we pay tribute to those graduates who are initiates of National Honorary Societies, including, but not limited to, Phi Beta Kappa, Phi Kappa Phi, Golden Key, the National Society of Collegiate Scholars, and Mortarboard. Will the members of National Honorary Societies please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. The University Honors Program provides an optional enriched educational plan of study for students at Colorado State University. These students may be recognized by the green gowns that they wear. Will the candidates for Honor Scholar please rise so we may applaud your achievements? Please be seated. Colorado State University recognizes the highest academic achievements of today's degree recipients by awarding their degrees with distinction. The candidates for graduation for distinction are wearing gold gowns or, in some cases, green gowns with gold cords. Students graduating with distinction have earned a minimum of 60 credits at this institution. Those graduating cum laude constitute approximately the top 6% of the class with a grade point average of 3.78 or higher. Those designated magna cum laude constitute approximately the next 3% of the class with a GPA of 3.91 or higher. And those graduating summa cum laude constitute approximately the top 1% of the graduating class with a GPA of 3.98 or higher. Will all candidates for graduation, cum, magna, and summa laude, please stand and be recognized? Please be seated. Finally, would those students in the audience who doubted yourself or were doubted by others, question that you would actually be here today for whatever reason, but you persevered, you showed your grit, and you made it, would you please stand and be recognized? You slay. I would now like to invite Dr. Ellie Light, Assistant Dean of Student Success, up to the podium to introduce our student speaker.
I would like to welcome one of our students to address the class. When choosing a student speaker, we look for someone who has an excellent academic record, certainly, but who also, through their curricular and co-curricular engagement, represents the value of the liberal arts education. Sam Stoltz represents these values in many ways. Sam is a political science and international studies major with a concentration in the Middle East and North Africa. He's studied abroad in Morocco and Jordan, has done research on disability rights in Oman, food insecurity in Rwanda, and waste management in Tunisia. He also spends time volunteering as a crisis counselor and worked as an intern for State Senator Robert Rodriguez and Governor Jared Polis, both of which demonstrate his commitment to the idea that every person has the power to create meaningful change. Finally, Sam is the co-founder and president of the Arabic Club, which helps to foster intercultural connections, global equity, and collaboration to build a more just and inclusive future. Please join me in welcoming Sam to the stage.
Thank you, Assistant Dean Light. And hello, CSU graduates! It is such an honor to be here today with each and every one of you, celebrating everything that we've accomplished over the past 4 years. We've all learned and grown so much. I personally have learned the basics of French and Arabic, as well as the proper order for Ram Band. If you're not starting a district, you're doing it wrong. I've learned that I couldn't have done a fraction of what I've accomplished without the community over the past 4 years, seeing what I was capable of, and supporting me in becoming the best version of myself. I've learned as a crisis counselor how important honoring the dignity and value of every person is, and most of all, I've learned how resilient I am and how resilient we are as a class. We've survived aggressive squirrels in the Oval, Zoom classes, and the asbestos in Clark C. Yeah, one of the last classes to do that. We persevered through 3 CSU presidents, 2 federal elections, and 1 global pandemic, which inspired more unprecedented times emails from one of those past presidents than I can even possibly begin to count. And I'll admit, just like Dr. Henschel said, there were certainly times that I didn't think I'd make it here to graduation. I'm sure that many of you had days, weeks, or even entire semesters where you may have doubted yourselves. Even as recently as a few weeks ago, I was debating dropping out as I pretended working on my thesis at AlleyCat for 6.5 hours. But instead of dropping out, I decided to overcome this challenge the same way that we overcame all the rest, by leaning on my trusted friends and community. So I turned to an established expert for help in my thesis, ChatGPT. For those of you that don't know what it is, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence chatbot that was made to answer questions and perform basic tasks like writing emails. It's basically a more powerful version of Siri. And while it's designed to answer prompts such as explain differential equations in simple terms, or write me a liberal arts graduation speech, it's instead usually used to answer prompts like write a tweet about Cam the Ram and iambic pentameter, or write me a rap about quantum physics in the style of Barack Obama. If you're curious about the rap, it wrote 5 verses, a chorus, and an outro, and somehow managed to rhyme Heisenberg uncertainty with cosmic serendipity. Pretty impressive. And while ChatGPT is a lot of fun to play with, it's actually a very powerful tool. It can write entire essays, so I've heard, debug lines of code, and even create its own business ideas. ChatGPT scored a 1410 on the SAT, passed the Universal Bar exam and the U.S. Medical Licensing exam, and even passed all 3 levels of the U.S. Sommelier exam. Given its success in medicine, law, and even the culinary field, ChatGPT brings up an uncomfortable question for us after investing 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars in our education. What is the value of my liberal arts degree from CSU? After all, ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence systems can understand law, explain history, and even make art. So what role is left for us as new graduates? My answer to that question lies in the orange bracelet that I'm wearing today. While it clashes horribly with my green graduation robe, it serves as an important reminder. This bracelet is made out of repurposed polyester fabric from life vests worn by Syrian and Libyan refugees who risked their lives to cross the Mediterranean and search for asylum in Europe. And I wear this bracelet to remind me of the human experiences that I should center in my everyday life. It's easy when looking at policy to see statistics of how you might increase incarceration numbers, cause a rise in unemployment, or save money by trimming social benefits. But it's hard to remember that behind every single number is a very real person. Every % of increased inflation means that more children will go to school hungry, and every individual that makes up our unemployment rate is a frazzled parent trying to provide for their children, or a new graduate unsure how they'll make their next rent payment. The power of the liberal arts is not that we can magically solve any of these issues, but rather that we can recenter the conversation on the very real lives that we are impacting. Our graduating historians can tell the stories that people that past empires tried to erase from history, while our journalism majors can tell the stories of the marginalized today. In a world increasingly focused on automation and efficiency, we are a reminder that our ultimate goal should center on making people's lives better. As we leave college and head into the rest of our lives, keep in mind the unique strengths that our liberal arts background has given us. ChatGPT may be able to tell you which wine to pair a salmon, but it can't tell the stories of the people who gave their time and energy into making both. ChatGPT can diagnose skin cancer with strong confidence, but it can't offer support to the family that's struggling with that diagnosis. ChatGPT can tell you which laws might apply to a certain court case, but it can't defend equity and justice in front of a jury. So, while I do expect our world to continue to change as new technology is adapted and adopted, we as liberal arts graduates will continue to serve an irreplaceable role in society. We serve to remind people what life is all about and the human aspects that make it so valuable. As we venture into the world, we take our education about the human spirit with us, and I encourage each and every one of you to keep in mind the importance of supporting dignity and justice for everyone that you impact. Thank you for your time, thank you for your energy, and thank you for your passion here at CSU. Fight on, stalwart Rams! I would now like to welcome back Dean Withers, who will present the charge to the graduating class. Thank you.
So my question is, can ChatGPT tell us what happened to that squirrel? So thank you, Sam, for those remarks. It's my honor to congratulate all here today, students, family, friends, faculty, staff, and administrators, as we end our time together in this space and in this community, and to also help mark your new beginnings, graduates of this great university, Colorado State. I say community and time and space because the last time that we were here together, you may remember, was Ram Welcome, either 2017, 2018, or 2019. I ask you to take just a moment, maybe close your eyes and think back about the activities of that day, the sounds, the excitement, the leadership that we saw on stage, the hopes that you had for your next 4 years. I went back and I looked at some of those videos recently, and I saw a younger version of myself, and perhaps a younger version of you too, full of that hope, full of that expectation. And I wondered, knowing what we have gone through in the last 4 years, what we would have thought at that time if someone told us. So what I want you to do as you step into the next part of your journey is not only how these last 4 years transformed us and changed us, made us a little bit older and perhaps wiser and more knowledgeable, but how you helped change this university through your quiet leadership. Quiet leadership is a skill that you have developed here at CSU over these last 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit longer for a few. Through your resilience, your commitment to your education, and your commitment to the well-being of all the communities that you're a part of. Now, many times when we think of leadership, we conjure up images of people standing in the spotlight, doing as what I'm doing here today, giving a speech in a booming voice. We saw that at Realm Welcome too. We saw the band director, we saw the cheerleaders, we saw the people on the stage at that time. But what I want you to think about is that there's another form of leadership too, one that doesn't seek the limelight but has an immense impact. And again, that is the leadership of the quiet ones amongst us. Rather than the volumes of their voices, quiet leaders are defined by the depth of their character and the strength of their actions. These leaders inspire by example through their unwavering integrity and consistent commitment to their values. This is what you show us during those 4 or 5 years by constantly and consistently showing up to your classes and demanding that you have the highest class of education. You didn't need to shout your point because your actions spoke louder than any words. You led through empathy and compassion, and you showed genuine care for the well-being of others. So, your charge. I ask you to do 3 things: to find quiet moments, to learn the superpower in the liberal arts, and understand the enormous power of soft words of encouragement. So first, as you go forth from here, find those moments when you might pause and reflect on your own thoughts or on the soft words of friends and fellow travelers. It is in the stillness of those thoughts that your great ideas will be born, where you will nurture them and where you will bring them to fruition. And it is in the calmness of that moment where those true connections are made, where trust is built and relationships flourish. Second, as you enter this next phase of your life, seek the superpower that belongs to the quiet leader. That's the power to make space for others to shine, to provide support and encouragement without seeking recognition. Be the ones who listen before speaking. who seek understanding before judgment, and prize humility and grace over pride and blame. Of all the superpowers, invisibility, running fast, leaping tall buildings, the world needs more people who understand that leadership is not about ego or self-aggrandizement, but about lifting others up and helping them reach their full potential. So third and finally, never underestimate the power of small acts of kindness and compassion. A gentle word of encouragement, a helping hand extended to someone in need, a quiet moment of support can have profound impact on the lives of others. These acts may seem insignificant at the time, but they can create tremendous ripples of positivity far beyond your immediate sphere of influence. So, in closing, I want to remind you that leadership is not reserved for the few, the loud, or the extroverted. Each and every one of you has the capacity to be a leader in your own unique way. Embrace the power of quiet leadership and let it guide your actions as you navigate the challenges and the opportunities that lie ahead. Your leadership may not make headlines, but it will leave a lasting impact on all those who know you. So, congratulations, class of 2023. As you embark on this new chapter of your lives, remember that your impact as quiet leaders can improve the world. May your journeys be filled with purpose and fulfillment and the profound influence of quiet leadership. Thank you, and go Rams! And now, the moments you've been waiting for. It is my great privilege to present the candidates for graduation in the College of Liberal Arts. Please stand. These students have completed all requirements for the baccalaureate degree and have been established by the university, the college, and their departments. Faculty Council has recommended to our governing board that these students receive their bachelor degrees. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Interim Provost Janice Nerger, who will confer these degrees.
Well, thank you, Dean Withers. This is quite an honor to bestow upon you, so I think I'll pause and just let you soak it in. I actually, just before coming downstairs, I decided I would, in my regalia, hide among the stands. And so I decided to hide up here. And I talked to Ariana's parents. Ariana's graduating in sociology, and she is one of our second lieutenants that was commissioned yesterday. And I talked to Paul's dad, who isn't exactly sure what major he is. He's like economics and art and has a whole lot of minors, and all I know is he's wearing shorts. And then I talked to Katrina's family, and Katrina's in graphic arts and sitting right here, and most important, I consider her my daughter as well as her sister, Natalia, that's sitting up there. So quite a few of you, wonderful class, and it is now my honor. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System, I hereby confer the bachelor's degree on each of you, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. Congratulations.
Please be seated. The marshals will now escort the graduates to the platform to be recognized individually and receive their diploma covers. We ask that families and friends keep the aisles clear and take photographs of your graduates after the ceremony. We have professionals for that over here. Dr. Cindy Murillo, Dr. Dominic Stecula, Dr. David Wolfgang, and Dr. Merrill Johnson will announce the graduates' names individually. And I know you think there are a lot of people to get through, but trust us, we're professionals. Graduates, to honor all members of the class, we ask that everyone remain in Moby during the ceremony.
Department of Anthropology and Geography, Jessica Lynn Marie Potts. Jason Alexander Copernicus. Stephen Douglas Young Jr. Emily Faith Dumsdorf. Nicole Renee Wilson. Sebastian Lemieux Shipman. Margie Ellen Keith. Brianna Mackenzie Port. Johnny Angel Rendon Jr. Laura J. Johnson. Walter Stephen Tullis. Brian Putnam Esparza. Victor Isael Coles. Gary Michael Stapleton Jr. Kelsey J. Krackemeyer. Mireya Azucena Sainz Cataño. Megan Ann Sheen Boland. Macy Sydney Wilson. Savannah Kraus. JC Michelle Gerber. Rachel Hickey. Aubrey Lauren Hurd. Erica Wilner. Stina G. Berthold. Kira Cyan Dickerson. Sydney Lee Holden. Dominic J. Houston. Elliot Robert Hutchinson. Inga Palm. Caroline Megumi Walters Ward. Court Stephen Johnson. Ray Velez. Graduates of the Department of Art and Art History. Abigail Joy Robinder. Riley Anna McGill. Suka Vo. Logan James Kazi. Grace Lynn Baldwin. Trinity Peyton Richardson. Vivian Blanco. Rocio Corina Contreras Delgado. Jocelyn Lapham. Adriana Nicole Scott. Madison Emily Johnson. Caitlin Grace Arnold. Katrina Klassen. Sophia Cezanne Craven. Avery Elizabeth Rush. Emma Grace Moorfield. Zara Eileen Noonan. Sabrina Nicole Moscow. Kirsty Brianne Johnson. Nicole Michelle Atiles. Anna Catherine Hood. Margaret G. Robinson. Olivia Jane Klein. Abigail Elizabeth Hauschar. Hannah Elizabeth Dunlap. Elena Kobalbal. Allison Economu. Kaylee Louise Andrews. Amanda Michelle Rooms. Sydney Michelle Pefferman. Cameron M. Douglas. Ava Isabella Kersick. Elena Barde. Kelsey Jean Gruber. Grace E. Bockelman. Charlotte Madison Stokes. Phelan Raitsuko Sebastian. Chloe Jackson Laline. Rachel Ann Garrison. Nathan Avery Eichenzer. Miguel Angel Beltran. Valencio Perez. Quentin Julius Holder. Parker McFerrin Albin. Karinganire Umuteze. Diane Catherine McGovern. Catherine E. Smith. Caroline Elizabeth Lawler. Aspen Ehrensdorf. Janeth Rodriguez. Anika Marie Lair. Gabrielle L. Haberman. Brooke Lorraine Byron. Rongshan Shu. Nicholas J. Lasher. Jackson Caleb Mooney. Sloan Llewellyn Peacock. Alexandra M. Barron Hughes. Landu Christine Conradi. Eric John Reynolds. Ava N. Shooter. Dorothy M. Keck. Samantha Rose Homan. Naomi Fernanda Gonzalez. Brian Pena Garcia. Carlos Ana Moreno Nocha Man. Close. Miles Emiliano Buchan. Garrett Thomas Schroeder. Michelle Riga Malenfant. Nicole Francesca Hines. Tylen Bryce Holzer. Orion Elias GZ. Brian Daniel Raftery. Savannah Nicole Martinez. Christian Borjas. Sydney Nicole Mech. Graduates in the Department of Communication Studies. Kayla Marie Kelly. Ashton Claire McGibbon. Grace A. Weintraub. Christina Jacobson. David A. Damuth. Hannah Lee Hitchcock. Olivia Lauren Berg. Grace Elizabeth Krangle. Reese Klutz. Alexander Nicholas Tingle. Stefan Laurent Bougie. Ethan J. Lee. Will Henry Horry. Madison Umari Bowles. Noah Nicholas Thompson. Aquino Ma Lan Su. Caleb Walker Dio Kemper. Aron Yamani Nagasi. Eric Matthew Neal. Jeremy Travis Naaman. Daniel Antonio Marquez. Andrew Thomas Phelps. Stephen Matthew Silva. Mira Hiat. Lucy Ann Lonson. Ben Harris Parinello. Tyler J. Fisher. Antonio Valdez. Nash A. Loibel. Ella Grace Sims. Amanda Noel Hedges. Jokara Pape. Isabel Cassandra Gira. Carter James Ferris Hill. Maggie Warren. Rachel Hobrook. Sophia V. Ravina. Sarah K. Varney. Drew M. Peterson. Taylor Lynn Stafford. Kaylee Himmelwright. Annie Frances Sullivan. Jacqueline Eve Kranitz. Sarah R. Roth. Bryant Herrera Maturin. Donnie Steckline. Kali McKenna Crumland. Sullivan Delore Lauer. Victor Nathaniel Espinosa. Margaret Alvarez. Morgan Sandra Scafidi. Samantha Greff. Sophia Blanchett. Alicia Marie Whiteley. Sebastian Lloyd Stern. Jonah Samuels. Benjamin Stone Gansner. Thomas James Raftis. Julianne Hope Bray. Kenna Nolenberg. Kate Ashley Nolenberg. Andrew Cameron Dewey. Kylie Nicole Gonzalez. Kendall Kathleen Barris. Allison Margaret Slusar. Bailey Grace Larson. Logan Matthew Volkert. Kara Janowski. Alexis Grace Eberhardt. JC Ann Pringle. Gianna Lee Jackson. Trevor McShane White. Colin Thomas Hickey. Peyton L. Donahue. Jessica Mai Lei Porter. Sienna Eshelman. Paloma Isabel Rodello. Kaylee Alexis Carew. Lauren Paulson. Allison Joelle Winsberg. Tyler Hage. Ryan A. Rogers. James DeBerg. Daniel Thomas Mostro Donato. Caitlin Marie Yeager.
The graduates from the Department of Economics. Juan Carlos Velasco. Vincent Ray Poirot. Blake Williams. Anukan Bunpida Mudge. Lauren Down Willems. Jack Yeager. Stephen Cooper Everett. Anders Oakland. Tyson Austin Deitch. Jacob T. Henning. Dax Ryan Littleton. Jared Andriata. Paul Daniel Tremblay. Matthew James Flight. Jack C. Hastings. Haley Lee Owens. Holly Kendall Middleton. Jacqueline Reyes. Brenna Freer. Brian Palamo. Marco Antonio Hernandez. Aiden John Knaus. Jacob Jackson. Slade Simpson. Nicholas John Williams. Riley Meyer Jr. Michael Thomas Pig. Blake S. Nelson. Seth L. Mora. Jack Newman. Peter W. Nichols. Maximilian de Vardinas. Ellery Jordan Osborne. Ryan James Thompson. Nicholas Bruce Baltus. Wyatt Buller. Jackson Baker Lee. Riot Aki Matthew Neocrush Tree. Zachary Munoz. Jack Charles Hemmelgarn. Sean Michael Connors. Jackson Bartlett. Nathan Rogers. Van Tu Do. Wang Phan Tan Hong. Hui Long Lin. Win Hu Tan Da. Quat Fu Nak Nin. Da Fu Hong Lin. Giang Win Nak Heng. Graduates in the Department of English. Sean Jarko. Brooke Ariel Miller. Brianna White. Peter R. Wilson. Nathan Vincent Salvador. Megan Elizabeth Schmidt. Cole Fisher. Alexander Rianne Hansen Caldwell. Justin Samuel Kasky. Mateo Grasso Gobel. Mia G. Manfredi. Caroline Kathleen Ritter. Madison Teresa Reinemer. Harrison Provost Sandusky. Charles Traver Wilson. Andrew H. Eisenstein. Zachary Martin Hansen. Sophia Grace V. Hill. Brooklyn Paige Reyes. Sarah Marie Moyman. Madison M. Hebrink. Hannah Grace Levy. Catherine A. McDaniel. Megan Zola Salazar. Natalie J. Coyne. Sophie Marie Kimball. Alexandria Nicole Branicki. Andrew J. Vanacore. Jesse B. Schaub. Haley Howe. David Leonard Hayes. Annie Platten. Katrina Elizabeth Beniski. Jaden Allen Price. Nicholas Kenneth Lynch. Holly Marie Hain. Carissa Grace Bahome. Camilla Jolie Nanez Chalaka. Grace Ann Tinley Neerick. Anastasia Joy Potzer. Graduates in the Department of Ethnic Studies. Zoe Watson Morellis. Liliana Zamparipa. Kenya Maria Montez Terrazas. Leslie Andrade. Brianna Abuya. Stephen Galloway. Bryn Bennett Fleinblatt. Graduates in the Department of History. Shane Robert Doolin. Riley Aaron Burkhart. Shayna Brooke Huberman. Cole Thomas Stencil. Vincent L. Michael. Joey Lee Wagner. Madison Tierney Briggs. Enrique Zambala. Tobin P. Gold. Riley Edward Benton Limbaugh. Thorin A. Pallone. Samuel E. Groper. Nicholas Perez Castle. Eladi Dodge. Lauren Hennessy. Abigail Lee Barbary. Adam James Valdez. Peyton Elizabeth Meyer. Riley Catherine Putnicki. Will Peters. Nicholas John Tomasini. Tessa Kaylin Warren. Melanie Lynn Grand. Gregory Code. Julia A. Imordino. Jason Lee Reiniger. Gray James Perez. Jacqueline Williams. Alyssa Marie Asgavido. Sean Patrick Lowry. Benjamin Daniel Sanchez. Ty Davis Nihei Wilkinson. William Tyler Baird. Grant Leroy Kersey. Julianne Tetri Alt. Bryn Lee Lamper. Connor Rohan Edgeworth. Anji Huang. Graduates of the Department Interdisciplinary Liberal Arts. Phoebe Grinnell. Grace Sandez. Michael Alex Vidal. Macy G. Ryder. Robert and Kemma. Kyle Hines. Haley Megan Smith. Forrest James Nelson. Adrian Alfredo Valdez. Faith Jillian Roth. Shauna R. McKay. Sarka Riktrokova. Destiny C.N. Thurman. Petra Farkas. Jenna Lynn Thomas. Daisy Hayes McClure. Caden Camper. Colin James Payne. Tatum Kathleen Libby. Adrian K. Thompson. Autumn Ann Jacoby. Mackenzie A. Jones. Jacinia Stidger. Caitlin Rose Bono. Haley A. Marker. Kristen Ann Holtzendorf. Francesca Cicchini. Alexis Odessa Works. Brandy Maxine Holland Mills. Connor James Friedman. Gary Ashton Williams.
Graduates in the Program of International Studies. Brittany Jeanette Moreno. Sophia Renee Ortiz Martin. Abigail Mengistab Barande. Samuel Wayne Stoltz. Alexis Raven Johannes. Nora Bosching. Cassie Nicole Campbell. Justin Michael Best. Graduates in the Department of Journalism and Media Communication. Andrea Grace Pennington. Lucille Celeste Morantz. Rachel Ann Mild. Samantha Jo Demers. Casey Andrew Abashian. Greta Nessie Bechtold. Jesse Shepard. Bethany Claire Brown. Rylin J. Todd. Bella Grace Eckberg. Carson Ruth Lane. Taylor N. Pauman. Lubin Dimitrov Krav. Anna Sebel Rosansky. Grant Stanley Jensen. Rachel Ann Bull. Ethan Dvorak. Austin James Myers. Marley Ann Ebert. Colton Austin Kirby. Matthew O. Frazier. Jared S. Keller. Brendan Ray Bolin. Garrett John Roth. Joshua Brooks Blackburn. Kevin Antonio Ochoa. Samantha Ann Lehunahni Bostic. Sarah Grace Dills. Emily Nicole Kozel. Dustin Robert Anderson. Ty Thomas. Megan S. Klain. Cassidy Blake Dufour Payne. Raymond Scott Mundine. Jackson Andrew Conrad. Young Wan Tree. Kaylee Celine Pickering. Grayson A. Reed. Oops. Danielle Elise Lingelbach. Brandon I. Hooten. Andrew E. Brown. Miles Nathaniel Vaughn. Taylor Gerard Hunt. Piper Lynn Russell. Mackenzie Glenn. Sierra Rose Riley. Jamalee Michelle Gorman. Gerson Flores Rojas. Mandy M. Cross. Kimberly Xiomara Castillo Garcia. Hannah Nicole Keir. Yael Josephine McLeod. Sarah A. Shaver. Sujin Skarajunski. Kaylee Jane Pierskala. Cambria Rain Gifford. Dylan Jerome Tusinski. Michaela Noel Allen. Kennedy Faith Stanford. Olivia Olson True. Leah Van Note. Chloe K. Powell. Nikki K. Hartnett. Lindsay Ann Feth. Riley Lynn Costa. Jane Violet Hillhouse. Callum C. Burke. Aaron Peck. Suleiman M. Akbar. Janae S. Peloquin. Carson Joseph Owen Pusa. Eric Tao Jiang. Marian Noveen Baltazar. Naomi Ann Hilmer. Taewon Kim. Zaya Elizabeth Hiley. Catherine H. Kulikowski. Cameron Miller Evig. Savannah Elise Rafkin. Benjamin James Haney. Noah Turner. Nathan Lawrence Mahoney. Sarah Fowler. Graduates in the Department of Languages, Literatures, and Cultures. Anna Virginia Wikowski. Clarissa Robles Gamboa. Priya Williams. Lark Elizabeth O'Hora. Shea Sarmiento Guerra. Megan Leanne Carroll. Skylar Renee Halapoff. Jennifer May Lanoha. Kate R. Moore. John Philip Werner. Janessa Suzette Chanot. Graduates in the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Matthew Patrick Dool. Alexis Catherine Carlson. Michaela Ray Fitzpatrick. Emmanuel Juan Bonilla. John M. Friskney. Catherine Colleen Kennedy. Farinaz Molay. Brandon Michael Grace. Savannah Rain Nichols. Samuel John Anderson. Aiden Thomas Dubby. Derek Austin Summers. Jason Alexander Coaster. Jake Christopher Elam. Kyle Noah Thomas. Brant Marshall Shetron. Taryn Jordan Wincott. Ethan C. Eccleberry. Brooklyn Rose Fling. Shiloh Darachek. Amelie Pecou. Mary Fox. Kaylee Menon. Haley Candelario. Kinsey N. Anderson. Kaylee Faith Stephen. Jia-Lin Wu. Kayla Cho Reed. Abigail Lorraine Kerr. Veronica Lee Noel Lazar. Ruthie Allison Dixon. Madeline Rose Cavanes. Sierra LaRue. Anna Noel Warner Imbriaco. Adrienne Frisbee. Grace Elizabeth Cooper. Elliot Asa Benson. Charlotte Dorothy Williamson. Sierra K. Bart. Arena Jacqueline Bratkovska. Ariana Sophia Nin. Rodrigo Perez Hermosillo. Kaylee T. Barger. Laurel Michelle Ladzinski. August David Meyer. Lily Elizabeth Morlock. Bo Connor Burkhart.
Graduates in the Department of Philosophy: Paul Hilarious Brule. Sean Derringer, Jude Palomino, Colin McCullough, Matthew W. Schnell, Eliza Moore, Dylan James Mooney, Aidan Robert Loftus, Michael Thomas Zamani, Ryan Wesley Nordisek, Olivia Elizabeth Heimowitz, Elise Marie Zoka. Graduates in the Department of Political Science, Aidan Brock Lyde, Emma Grace Hansen, Madison Ray Krupka, Abigail Elise Harold. Good job, Abby. Thomas B. Nelson. Chastity Taylor Holland. Ulvia Sadigova. Alessia Kaylin Smith. Parker James Hill. Natalia Alexandrovna Goncharova. Natalie Titov-Delman. Stephanie Elizabeth Hope Gross. Elizabeth Claire Fox. Alexander Michael O'Neill. Isaiah A. Dennings. Javoni Joel Das. Xavier Enrique King. Brownan Scout Cartwright. Cyan Almanza. Desiree Wood. Drake Anthony Smith. Congrats, Drake. Caroline Mary Louise Bauer. Marcus Isaac Galeno Zacharias. Kimberly Rachel Caracedo. Clay James Kimberling. Samuel Emery Wilkie. Matt J. Ayers. Leah Arieta. Sanya Daibai. Darby McCarran Parker. Sierra Lynn Cassidy. Hilda Yuri Navarez Ruiz. Vanessa Laureles Avalos. Jack Frederick Cronin. Margot Brown. Weston Lee Kalani Schroeder. Quinn William Amelia. Congrats. Joshua Ryan Hahn. Jade Aurora Mayer. Damia Eve Pace Murphy. Kaylee Denise Leon Rico. Jacob P. Zarnetsky. Najoni Ray Valdez. Rafael A. Duarte. Esther Hong Pai. Jacob Joseph Sapwood. Congrats, Jacob. Sean Lee Costello. Joseph P. Dixon. Pressure's on. Pressure's on. Abdurrahman Imad Swidan. William Morris Austin V. William Jeffrey Stoneman. Ruby Ann Richards. Kendall Starr Terrell. Rachel Victoria Pratt. Mackenzie J. Falconer. Claudia Murillo. Jenna Paulette Cookson. Ava Rose McCall. Kevin Wen Clark. Chandler Elise Klaus. Matthew J. Weissner. Alexander Matthew Warren. Easton Mitchell Garner. Congrats. Faith Nicole Hellard. Pike Whipperforth. Elizabeth Margaret Gerstner. Luke David Hayes Cochran. Isaac Elton Nevert. Rhett L. Walters. Alexandra Lomasi Sanchez. William Joseph Torres Furtado. Brandon J. Roth. Jaden A. Herrick. Mason Rajkovic. Zachary F. Shepard. Sydney Faith Ziegler. Trinity Faye Gallegos. Emma Rose Vale. Alejandra Mungia Cuevas. Joseph Lee Coakley Hoyler. Daniel Peter Mulvihill. Evan Charles Liu. Lucas Robert Gardner. Lauren Emily Farrell. Elena Ann Matson. Alondra Jovita Rubio Meraz. Graduates in the Department of Sociology. Quinn Marie Flanagan. Riley Elizabeth Munoz. Malia Elizabeth Miller. Kennedy Grace Gomez. Noelle Catherine Black. Maria Anali Alcocer. Stephanie Miranda Miramontes. Reina Frias. Maria Santiano. Kenzie Ann Struthers. Robert Fisher Moody. Michael Anthony Napa Pacheco. Alicia Marie Torres. William Lloyd Anderson. Kendall Simone Oxley. Samantha Ann Niels. Megan Elizabeth O'Leary. That's good, thanks. Benjamin Alexander Payton. James E. Mooney III. Marwan Ghassan Nasser. Caleb Andrew Ufalusi. Cole W. Campbell. Mackenzie Lynn Bice. Olivia Jane Carroll. Alexa Paige Hujinski. Sharon Denise Nichols. Solana Jacqueline Kokanor. Brianna Alexis Martinez. Harrison Reed Corey. Harrison M. Marchand. Rebecca Mackenzie West. Grace Abigail Dotson. Sarah Cazares. Natalie Jane Melvin. Mariah Lorette Duchamp. Bryn Michelle Morgan. Amanda Michelle Caruso. Colin J. Saylor. Isabel Claire Calcaterra. Austin Boone Cope. Anna C. Erickson. Lily Ann Ortega. Cleo Anderson. Mason Hughes Kreider. Kaylee Elise Yons. Ashlyn Rose Godin. Martha Jane McCadden. Becca Mendelson. Megan Gray White. Emily Reagan Brandenburg. Rand Sophia. Sophie Grace White. Ren Rachel Gainey. Jacob Alexander Dillon. Owen Soderholm. Chris McCarran. Landry Isabella Holsworth. Sophia K. Hood. Stosh Eli Beeler. Asia Lee Nikai. Olivia Salume Lynch. Reagan Clarice Jolstad. Ryan Michelle Hale. Parker Emilia Cortaz. Allison D. Langston. Joseph Toshiro Mooney. Allie E. Fales. Ariana Kathleen Carreri. Yamile Roque Jimenez. Grace Fallon Wright Redard. Samantha Jo McCann. Dylan Thomas Gaynor. Anaí Ruiz. Carla Sanchez. Dominique Matthew Hall. Cassius Emmett Caney. Donovan Wayne Kosevalon. Bemnet Belacho Tefera. Malia Ray Blair. Olivia May Schaefer. Tori P. Egan. Angie M. Martinez Ceballos. Sydney Thomas Guilford. Benjamin Andrew Torney. Andrea Santiago. Danielle Abriana Gutierrez Aragon. Riker Nicholas Ramirez. Griffin C. Ronsky. Tanya D. Martinez Gardea. Krishna Cassandra Quinones Gasca. Jesse Mogensen. Aaron P. Manch. Cole E. Williams. Colleen Elizabeth Sochin. Ling Muma. Megan Elizabeth Wardington. James Thomas Gordon. Dylan Elizabeth Rooney. Angelina Guadalupe Moreno. Fatima Guadalupe Prieto Rojas. Eric Logan Danielson. Jonah T. Klein. Devin William Lobato. Allison C. Wolf. Andrew J.D. Koletsky.
Congratulations. Your family and friends have supported you in so many ways throughout the years leading up to this day. Will the family and friends gathered please stand so that the graduates may express their love and appreciation? Please be seated. Banner carriers, please post your banners. This ceremony wouldn't have been possible without the efforts of many people. My sincere appreciation for the excellent services of the faculty marshals, Dr. Ernesto Sagas, Dr. Martin Shields, Dr. Alicia Miller-DeRute, Professor John Gravdahl, Dr. Diane Margoff, and Dr. Patrick Mahoney. Thank you to our announcers, Dr. Cindy Murillo, Dr. Dominic Stecula, Dr. David Wolfgang, and Dr. Meryl Johnson, and our interpreters, McKenna Bridges and Samantha Linder, and the Wing Walker Honor Guards for presenting the colors. My sincere appreciation to the Landmarks event staff and CSU Police for keeping us safe, and the facilities staff for turning Moby into a celebration. I also want to thank the sound technicians and video producers for their excellent work producing our commencement ceremony. By the way, this was live streamed and recorded, so if your loved ones missed it or if you want to relive the magic once again, it'll be on the commencement website. Thank you to the College of Liberal Arts Dean's Office staff, I see you back there, and commencement volunteers, especially the amazing Colleen Weitzel and Grace Weintraub, who not only planned the ceremony, but graduated in your class as well. Finally, I'd like to ask members of the CSU Brass Quintet and the vocalist, Michaela Fitzpatrick, who by the way is also graduating in the class and was called upon to sing for us today at the last minute, to please stand and take a bow. Bravo. Now, will everyone please stand and join Michaela and the new graduates of Colorado State University in singing our alma mater. The words are on page 1 of your virtual program and on the screens. Members of the audience, please be seated. You all stay standing. The tossing of the graduation cap tradition goes back to 1912, when graduates of the Naval Academy would receive their new officer hats and throw their midshipman hats in the air to symbolize the transition. Because I'm a scholar of cultural history, I want you all to carry on that tradition, but because I'm an administrator, I want you to be careful while you're doing it. And because I'm sentimental, I'm going to take a video of you while you're doing it. So, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Please collect your hats and be seated. Is everyone okay? The banner carriers will lead the recessional. Next will be the platform party and then the faculty. Graduates, please remain seated until the faculty marshals asks your row to leave. We ask that all graduates meet their family and friends outside of Moby so that CSU is able to prepare the arena for remaining ceremonies. Graduates, you've left your mark on CSU. Now go make your mark on the world. We will miss you. Keep in touch. Thank you all for coming to the College of Liberal Arts Commencement Celebration.